welcome to the preview segment of the Three Quarters podcast, your official podcast for the 2018 Rugby Africa Gold Cup. Also remember to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support your team as they look to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Danilo Duffield.
And I'm Nora Kamuya.
So now we're going to look at match day 4 of the Rugby Africa Gold Cup. So the first game, which will be played at 3 p.m.
Yes.
People, let's not come late. I know a lot of people thought that the previous game was going to be played at 4.
Yes.
So 3 p.m. Kenya host Uganda. Kenya have already played Uganda before in the away match for the Elgin Cup. And to be honest, after that performance, I don't think that Kenya will have a hard time. A very hard time in that game. I'm sure that Uganda have had time to, better prepare for this encounter. Though I think if Kenya sort of if they give it their all, basically, it's going to be like, in the case of Namibia most of the time, yes, they're going to win, but by how much? So I think that's what's going to happen in this game.
It's a derby. It's an East African derby, and it's always an entertaining game, just from a fans' perspective. And for Kenyans, Ugandans, neutrals, it's a very entertaining game. So two sides that play a very similar game. They're very athletic. They have bulky set of forwards and very athletic. But I think for Uganda to have a change, or for them to register even a semblance of competition or some points against Kenya, they'll need to choose from their best squad. I know there's the issue that they are thinking about the 7th World Cup, but look, this is a World Cup qualifying year, and it's a 15th game. This is what helps Uganda's rankings in rugby. It's not the 7th game. So I think Ivan Magomo, Philip Wokorach, those are the two people John Duncan will be thinking of choosing when they come up against Kenya. For Uganda also to try, look, Uganda have always had a good outing whenever they travel to Kenya. 2016, Philip Wokorach registered 26 points against Kenya. 2017, Philip Wokorach again to the Philip Wokorach show, and they drew with Kenya 33-33. So yes, it's always a good hunting ground for Uganda, but I feel that squad selection is what's going to be the biggest thing. What else? What do I think they should do also? Again, Kenya are going to come with a high-tempo game. That's what they did in Kampala when they played the Elgin Cup. So I think they'll need to choke the ball at the breakdown, just make it slow for Kenya to move the ball, and then it becomes a competition. If they don't do that, and Kenya are on form, and Kenya are having their way, then it's going to be a whitewash for Kenya against Uganda. What do Kenya need to do? I think their coaches, Ian Snook and Mario Ralston, need to stop the gambling in terms of the player selection and the positional changes, or whatever you want to call it. I think about the game versus Zimbabwe. They had their blind winger, Edmond Anya. Young boy, talented, yes, but definitely not ready for this kind of pressure. So I think Ian Snook and Mario Ralston should be going for their more seasoned players, so long as they meet the criteria that these guys want. And that's Kenya's downfall. That's where I see the problem being. It's going to be about the squad selection. But I feel that Kenya, if they're able to play their game, if they're able to be expansive, if they're able to spread the ball wide, 1, 2, on defense, if they're able to again spread, because we've seen in the last 2 games against Morocco and Zimbabwe, sorry, I beg your pardon, a lot of tries have been scored off the wings because Kenya always been caught in the overlap, and Uganda need to capitalize on that. Uganda need to look at that. So if on the day they don't sort that out, then Uganda definitely are going to give Kenya a run. If Philip Wokorach and Ivan Magomo are there, then Uganda definitely are going to give Kenya a run for their money. But I think it's going to be too tough for Uganda, despite even the presence of Wokorach and Magomo. The Kenyan guys are looking very fit and playing at home, running the ball like they do. I think it's going to be very difficult for Uganda to beat Kenya in match day 4.
And another thing I think the Kenyans would maybe need to do is work on how the players gel. you could tell a few players weren't sort of used to playing with each other. I mean, you'd see maybe Biko Adema, running across, and maybe should have asked for a switch from Edmund Anya, and it didn't happen. And I mean, Anya's a small player. If you put him right on the wing, he'll get knocked out by most people. Just things like that. You'd see in the middle maybe a little pop up, and the person who was receiving the ball didn't know that was going to happen. And that mainly comes from when you're not used to playing with someone, or maybe when you're out of position. Then you're like, oh wow, okay, ball's here, and then that results in a knock-on, a fumble. Things like that. I think Kenya would need to work on also. With the defense that you just mentioned. But it will definitely be an exciting game, full of emotion. I mean, it being a derby, that is how derbies are. Yes, and you having a couple of Ugandan players playing in the Kenya League. So it's definitely going to be emotional. It's definitely going to be electric. It's going to be a boisterous crowd. So I'd urge those who are in Nairobi, who don't have anything to do, to head to the RFEA grounds, and of course the game starts at 3 p.m. Also, I mean, Uganda always come with a huge fan base. So they always have a lot of support, which will help them, help will the boys on basically on the day.
That's true.
So the next game will be Tunisia hosting Zimbabwe. Now we've seen Tunisia play against Namibia, and that was I think in terms of performance, they really need to work on everything. I think it would be good though to see Tunisia with a not as strong of an opponent. I mean, Namibia, I think, are just in a different class at the moment. They're in a class of their own. Not to take anything away from Zimbabwe, they played very well. I'm just, comparing results, against Morocco, and So I think Zim will probably take the win on the day, based on what we've seen so far. But I'd like to see what the Tunisians can offer.
Tunisia will need to work very hard, as you've put it, because, and no disrespect to the Tunisians, I just don't think they've put in the work that our teams have put in. When you hear Zimbabwe have raised $1 million just to focus on this Rugby Africa Gold Cup, you see Kenya have brought in their coaches. When you hear Namibia went into camp last year, December, you just don't get the feeling that Tunisia have put in the work some of these other teams have put. You see the work that Morocco has done, in the last year. So you just don't get the feeling that they've put in the work that other teams have put in, and that's what's exposing them. Their players are not as conditioned as the other sets of players. But look, they're going to be playing at home. And Tunisia did beat Zimbabwe last year. I know it's a different outfit, but Tunisia did beat Zimbabwe last year. So what do I think they're going to do? I would suggest, or if they were to listen to me, Tunisia then would need to impose their forwards on the game. That's the only way they're going to be able to register some sort of win against Zimbabwe at home. They need to impose their forwards in the game. They have a heavier set of forwards. They need to use their set pieces very well. On the other hand, it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy for them, because Zimbabwe are going to come all guns blazing. They've drawn against Morocco. They've lost to Kenya. They'll be looking for that.
They need to win.
They need to win. They need to win, and they have some seriously conditioned players, and they are running very fast. Shinji Katsivere, Brandon, get his second name, first center. Linus Tambuera at number 10. So it's going to be a very tough and daunting task for Tunisia, and they have to be up for it on the day. But I do agree with you. Zimbabwe are looking very good. They were unfortunate against Kenya, so I think that Zimbabwe are actually going to take this one, despite the fact that they're playing away.
I'd like to know what people think, whether they agree with us on these opinions. If you don't, please tell us. I mean, you can find us on social media. You can do that by following us on Instagram, liking our page on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Denima Duffield.
And I'm Ngaro Kamuya.
See you on Monday for the review after the games.